By now, it's no secret that Bluey has become one of the most beloved and fastest-growing shows in recent memory. But what might surprise you is just how many hidden details quietly connect one episode to the next. Some of them are so subtle that fans are only now starting to piece them together.
Dad, look! We're on TV!
Oh, good one.
Let's talk about a great example, the episode Onesies. Most fans remember this one for two reasons. First, it's got one of the most quietly emotional storylines in the entire show. Auntie Brandy opening up about her struggle with not being able to have children. It's handled with so much care and subtlety. It hits hard without ever spelling things out. The second reason is the hilarious costume chaos. Bluey and Bingo get their hands on a zebra and a cheetah onesie. And as usual, Bingo fully commits to the role, this time becoming a wild predator on the loose. It turns into a hilarious pretend horror episode, with Bingo hunting down the others and declaring game over like a little slasher villain. It's all in good fun, of course, but it's pure chaos. After Brandy and Chili share that tender moment lying in the grass, Bingo decides it's time to level up. She jumps on a bike to keep chasing Bluey, who yells,
"Chain is not right, bikes!"
But Bingo couldn't care less. She's in the zone. Now, here's where things get clever. In the middle of that chase, Bingo crashes straight into the family's mailbox, knocking it over. It ends up stuck in the ground, leaning awkwardly to one side. Cut to the very next episode. This time, Bluey and Bingo are spying on the construction workers Chili hired to build the long-awaited fish pond, something that's been teased ever since Bandit and the uncles cleared out those tree stumps in the yard. The girls spend most of the episode playing spies, keeping tabs on the tradies. Eventually, during a break, one of the workers, Sparky, offers a truce and shares some ice cream with the kids. Turns out, his buddy Chippy is distracted because of some drama with his girlfriend, Cherry. Yep, we're keeping track of tradie lore now. As the conversation lightens and the girls warm up to them, the workers go back to the job. And on his way back, Sparky spots the mailbox that Bingo wrecked. Without saying a word, he stops, straightens it up, and gets back to work. It's a blink and you'll miss it moment, but that's exactly what makes Bluey so special. And believe it or not, that's one of the smallest episode connections we've found. Some of the others will leave your jaw on the floor. So get comfy, grab some snacks and settle in because this is Bluey Bingoverse, and we're just getting started. Next up is a sneaky little connection involving a very familiar item, a button that played a huge role in one of Bluey's most iconic episodes, and quietly pops up again in an episode most fans rarely talk about. In the episode Dance Mode, Bingo spends most of the episode trying to enjoy her special moment. She just wants the chance to activate Dance Mode, a silly game where she gets to make her family break out dancing in public. But things don't go her way. First, Bluey jumps in and steals the moment. Then Bandit swoops in, offering her $20 to buy her next turn. Bingo doesn't really want to give it up, but she agrees anyway, even if she's clearly disappointed. And just when you think things can't get more unfair, Bluey steps in again, this time pressuring Bingo into spending her money on a toy she doesn't even want. That's right, the YES, or NO button. The button ends up being pretty important. Later in the episode, it becomes the way Bingo finally finds her voice and expresses how hurt she feels. That little push is what finally gets her parents to realize what's going on. And of course, they go all in on Dance Mode to cheer her up. But the story doesn't end there. In Season 3's Cubby, there's a quick moment that links right back to that emotional storyline. The girls are building a cozy little hideout for their doll and decide that the best building materials are, obviously, the living room cushions, which means Bandit has to relocate. As they yank everything off the couch, there it is. Tucked away under the cushions, completely forgotten, is the yes or no button from Dance Mode. It's such a small detail, but it perfectly captures how real this show can be. Because let's face it, every parent knows what happens to toys. They get played with once, then vanish into the abyss under the furniture. And it's moments like these that prove Bluey isn't just great storytelling. It's a masterclass in how to build a connected universe that feels like real life. Let's talk about Pass the Parcel, shall we? Lucky's dad isn't a fan of the newer, feel-good version of the game where everyone gets a prize. He decides to switch it back to the classic version. One winner, one big prize hidden in the last layer. At first, no one's thrilled, especially the kids. But over time, something shifts. At each new party, both parents and kids start to appreciate the build-up and suspense. The game feels more exciting when the stakes are higher, and it's all about who ends up with the final prize. What really hits home is the moment Bingo learns a deeper lesson. Instead of being upset when she doesn't win, She starts enjoying watching her friends light up when they do. She realizes there's something nice about not needing to win all the time. But in a final twist, it is Bingo who wins. The music stops, the parcel lands in her lap, and she unwraps a bird-shaped kite. We even see her flying it in the end credits. A sweet little payoff. That kite becomes more than just a reward. It becomes a tiny symbol of the episode. And like most toys, it fades from memory, but not from the show. In Season 3's Dirt, when Judo wants to play but can't join the mud fun because her fur is too high maintenance, there's a blink and you'll miss it moment that ties back to the kite. At the very beginning of the episode, you can spot it, stuck in a tree near the healer's house, abandoned, forgotten, but unmistakably the same bird kite from past the parcel. It's just another clever little thread in the web of Bluey's world, showing how even the tiniest details have a story to tell. I bet you haven't noticed that. So type #parcel in the comments to show how much you liked learning this. Up to this point, we've been talking about connections between pairs of episodes, but the next one spans 3 different stories across 2 seasons, all tied together by something ridiculously simple, a $5 note. Yep, just one tiny bill. But it's surprisingly persistent. This thing pops up in multiple episodes like it's fighting for its own spin-off. It all kicks off in Season 1, Episode 20, during the outdoor market. Bluey's just received $5 from the Tooth Fairy and is now wandering around trying to figure out what to spend it on. But it's not easy. Bluey feels the pressure. Once she spends the money, that's it. It's gone. So she hesitates. She wants to make the right choice. Then Winton's dad enters the scene with a tray of caramel apples. He's only got one left. Bluey doesn't even really care for caramel apples, but with the market winding down and nothing else catching her eye, she gives in and buys it, more out of obligation than excitement. From that point on, we watch the bill make its journey through a handful of characters before eventually circling back to Bluey. This time, though, she uses it for something bigger than herself. She pays a local musician to play a fun tune, creating a moment that lifts the entire mood of the fair. That very same musician, along with that same $5 bill, returns later in the show. The next sighting is in dance mode. After Bandit and Chili throw their dignity out the window to make Bingo laugh, they end up in a public plaza. And who's performing there? The same musician, now banging on PVC pipes. And in his tip hat? That $5 bill. But the journey doesn't end there. If you're watching closely during Quiet Game, there's a brief moment where Bandit strolls past the ice cream stand, and coming from the other direction is the musician, casually buying an ice cream. And yep, he's using that exact same $5 bill. 3 episodes, 1 small prop, and a surprisingly meaningful journey. All from a little note that refuses to be forgotten. Let's talk about Winton's dad, Cornelius. He's an English bulldog with a soft spot for fanny packs, a love for caramel apples and bratwurst, and a heart that's just waiting to be filled. After splitting up with Winton's mom, Cornelius has been dipping his toe back into the dating pool. But he's no flashy ladies man. His approach is simple. Slow walks, quiet conversations, and shared ice cream cones on a park bench. And while his romantic adventures never seem to stick, that doesn't stop him from trying. His story weaves quietly through the background of several episodes. And if you weren't paying attention, you probably missed it. Want to know what I'm talking about? So make sure to subscribe to the channel. It's the only way to keep you up to date. And speaking of dates, here we go. It all kicks off in dance mode. Just before Chili swoops in and triggers dance mode to mortify Bandit, the family is about to enter a store. If you glance to the left of the frame, you'll spot a yellow Labrador in sunglasses chatting up a laughing woman. Cornelius isn't even there. So what gives? Hold that thought, because in the next episode, Quiet Game, there's a quick but telling moment. Right before that familiar street musician buys an ice cream with the $5 bill we've been following, Cornelius walks past in the background. And who's beside him? The very same lady the Labrador was charming in the previous episode. Only now she's with Cornelius. They're sharing ice cream and chatting, clearly in the middle of a low-key date. But as we move through later episodes, Cornelius is back to being alone. Looks like that one didn't last. Fast forward to TV Shop, where the story takes an unexpected turn. While Bluey and Bingo are playing their security camera spy game inside the store, we get quick glimpses of Winton, the terriers, and their parents. One of those glimpses shows Cornelius catching the eye of Terrier's mom, who, like him, seems to be navigating single parenthood. He even pauses to freshen his breath before going over to talk to her. And judging by their expressions, the conversation is going really well. Then comes a quiet bombshell in The Sign. The kids are gathered around Calypso, sharing their personal worries and struggles. Winton admits that his dad has been feeling down ever since the separation. That's when one of the terriers leans in and casually says,
How Mom likes your dad.
and just like that, a quiet subplot comes full circle. Because at the end of the very same episode, we see Cornelius with the terrier's mom, along with the triplets and Winton in the car, searching for a new house to live together. Talk about a happy ending, right?